Hi, I'm Jenna, and this is episode 104. So it is February 5th, and it is freezing cold and snowing here in Ohio. We have 5 inches at least out there right now. So the kids are home with a snow day, and I'm feeling like I'm going slightly insane. This is our 8th snow day since the beginning of the year. So here in Ohio, we get 5 what they call clemency days. We call them just snow days. So it's for cold weather or snow. And we normally only get 5, and we have used up 8. So the kids will be making up time at the end of the school year. You're talking about adding a few more on, but at this point, the weather's just going to keep hitting and hitting, and I don't feel that 4 is going to be enough. But, you know. So, knit-alongs really quick, and then we're going to pull the drawing for the ebook. So, the fox, we have to draw for the fox, too. The fox knit-along went great. I loved seeing everybody's foxes. And, so that just leaves us with, that just leaves us with the sprig knit-along. That goes till the end of February. So, you still have, what, 3 weeks and 2 days left to get them done, because there are exactly 28 days in February. So, you still have time if you haven't started one yet, and you're a pretty quick knitter. 3 weeks should be plenty of time to knit it. I knit mine, I don't know, a week and a half or 2 weeks, and I worked on it pretty extensively, and I work from home, so I have the luxury of having quite a bit of knitting time. But it was such a well-written pattern. I felt it went pretty fast. There was nothing too hard or too intricate. There was the neckline that took, it took a significant amount of time, but I did it in an evening. So, yeah, great sweater. Definitely one of my favorite ones to wear. I wore it over the weekend to a family gathering and got lots of compliments on it. And, I love seeing all the colors everyone else picks, because I kind of went with the same color that the pattern was originally knit in, so I love seeing other people's different choices. So, real quick, we're going to pull for Hank and Gracie Save the Day. We'll do that one first, since I mentioned that one first. So, random number. So, there were 30 entries. Done. Hit generate. Lucky number 5. So number 5 is on the first page. Trying to be as quick as I can, because I know some people hate the drawing of the things, but I like to do them first and get them out of the way. So number 5, the winner is Melissa 724. So I assume that her name is Melissa, and it is from South Carolina. So please PM me, be like, hey, I'm the winner. And then really quick, I can't remember how many foxes we had. Loved seeing all the foxes. Love, 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 love seeing, knit-alongs with patterns that are mine, of course, are going to be my favorite. Because I love seeing so many of them come to life. Okay, so there were 21 entries. Well, 21 posts. The first one's mine, so 20 entries. So we'll go back to the random number. 21. Okay. First, I'm going to pull for the stitch markers, very generously donated by Caterpillar Designs, which I believe are a $10 value. There we go. It didn't, I tapped it and didn't move. Okay, the winner of the stitch markers is number 12. Number 12 is on the first page. That helps. Number 12 is Tamora, who is Kayleen from Gold Coast, Queensland, Australia. And then winner number 2 of a $7 pattern up to $7 pattern of your choice. It can be less than $7 if there's something you really want. And it's less, that's fine with me. And the winner for that is number 5. So random number must like number 5 today. So number 5, also on page 1. Come on. Okay, number 5 is Bryony Bear, BRYONYBAR, who is Kay from Darlington, the United Kingdom. So both international winners today. So Kay, like I said, a pattern up to $7, either your cost or mine, it doesn't matter. And let me know, and I will gift that to you. That is from... Or no, I won't gift that to you. Somebody else, we had a viewer gift it to you. That's right. We had a very generous viewer willing to gift a pattern up to $7. I am gifting the pattern for the sprig. So the sprig knit along is also a pattern up to $7 gifted by moi. That's right. A very generous viewer was gifting the pattern for the box knit along. So Kay, still let me know what pattern you want, and I will let the viewer know, and she will gift that to you. Whew, okay, now that the give-alongs, I'm all tongue-tied today. I apologize. It's one of those days. Like I said, the kids are home. I'm like, my hair's all frizzy today because the air's dry, so you'll just have to deal. Okay, well, into the knitting now. I have some finished objects. So first off are some mittens. They are the Waiting for Winter Mittens by Susan B. Anderson. And I love these. And they're not mine. Nothing I show you today that I have finished or knitted or that I'm knitting on do I get to keep. Like, what's up with that? I am a selfish knitter. I do not always like to knit for other people. If I knit for other people, then that's kind of a big deal. But these I should have had knitted and done and sent out a long time ago, and life has gotten the best of me at times, especially with the holidays. But they are done now, and I love them, and I so wish I didn't have to send them away. But hopefully the person who's getting them will love them. You ready to see them? I love these. Aren't they cute? So, like I said, Waiting for Winter Mittens by Susan B. Anderson, and they are in the Dancing Dog Dye Works Tweedy base. It is an Aran Weight yarn in the Pumpkin Spice Bark colorway. So these are going off to Michelle of Dancing Dog Dye Works. I had originally thought, because I finished them over the weekend, and I originally thought, oh, I will record on Wednesday and then go to the post office after I record and mail them out. Yeah, that's not happening. I'm kind of snowed in. Like, unless if I want to take my happy butt outside and shovel out my driveway, it's not happening. Because probably by the time my husband gets home from work, the post office will be closed. Because it'll probably take him longer to get home today, I am assuming. Because I know he was a little late for work because the roads were even worse than he had anticipated. But he has to go. The kids get a snow day, he doesn't. So I love these. And then being an Ohioan, especially not far outside of Cleveland, these mittens remind me of Cleveland Browns colors because they are orange and brown. So I'm like, yay, go Browns. Even though the Browns as a team kind of suck, I cannot help but to want to root for the home team. So once again, super cute. Love these so much. And of course my stripes, they match. They match perfectly every way. And these are so thick. These are nice mittens. I might have to see if I can bribe her into dyeing me just a solid color. And, because they are so warm. These are like the kind of mittens I need at this time of year. Then I have one other finished object. It is the soul-sucking teddy bear. as she's been affectionately called in my house. So I've been hanging out at the knit shop, helping out, and I let the owner know, I'm like, well, you know, I have time to knit. I'm kind of stuck in a rut right now, design-wise. I don't know, I'm in a rut. So I'm like, oh, well, you know, I have time to knit. You know, I've been pounding out sweaters in a week and a half to 2 weeks, and small items rather quick. I'm like, if there's something you really want as a sample and you don't have time to knit, I will be happy to help. So she's like, oh, okay, you know, and then she's like, oh, I really want you to make me something out of this yarn. So this teddy bear is knit out of Plymouth yarn Daisy. I used almost one whole skein of the green. It's a really light lime green, and a little over half of a skein of the pink. So it's Plymouth yarn Daisy. So this will go back to the knit shop. I took 2 skeins of the green just because I'm like, if I get the bear done and I don't have enough for his ears or something, you know. So this will go back to the shop along with the scraps. So the Daisy is, it's definitely an Aran weight. I don't think they would call it a bulky. I don't remember what Ravelry said, but it is 42% nylon, 32% cotton, and 26% acrylic. So it'd be good for baby things and whatnot, and washable. But there's no stretch, like 0 stretch. I don't like knitting with kitchen cotton and stuff because there's no stretch. Like, as much as I love homemade dishcloths. Like, love them. Totally will use them over the handful of store-bought dishcloths that I have in the cabinet. But I hate knitting with it because there's no stretch and it kills my hands. And this is kind of what this bear did. There was no stretch. It totally killed my hands. If I would have designed the pattern, which I did not, it is a Plymouth yarn. It was a Plymouth Yarn Company studio pattern, I think is what it was listed as. I would have made the body a little longer and the legs, the arms length are okay. But when I was done knitting this, like, it took me 3 days. And I would only knit on it during the day when I wasn't interrupted because the children weren't home. They were at school. And I think I started it Sunday night after they went to bed. So I wanted to really focus on it and everything. So see, a little body. The jacket does come off. I'm not going to take it off because it was kind of a pain to get on. Just because I wanted it to sit just right. So it has these cute little, I don't know if the camera will pick them up, cute little flower buttons that I found in my button stash. And the one thing I do love about this bear is its little tail. Now, I positioned the tail in the proper spot. Any lower and it would have looked like the bear was pooing it or something. Like, the tail had to be up so high to make it look proper. But, so the jacket kind of sits on it. There's nothing I could do. I have moved the jacket up any higher and it'll be on the head. But anyways, I love its little stumpy tail. But when I would be done knitting this at the end of each day, when I'm like, okay, that's enough for today, I was like, I didn't want to knit on anything. Like, it just was like, ugh. So I joked with my husband that it sucked the soul out of me for the day. Like, I just wanted to sit there and just veg. Now, the pattern is written to be seamed. Like, you are supposed to seam this bear up the back, up each arm, and up each leg. I did not do that. I knit the body in the round. So that was another thing, is I had to, like, do the math and make sure I'm following the directions to do the bear in the round. There ended up being a couple extra stitches on the back side because they gave you a couple extra inches for seaming room. I don't think no one's going to know that, right? Like, it's between you, me, and the fence posts. I did seam the ears. I followed the directions as it said, and I seamed them. That was not a big deal at all. And I seamed the jacket. The jacket construction was stupid. There was no other way to say how the jacket... There was a much easier way. Instead of cutting the yarn and rejoining and it was stupid. So, not my favorite knitting pattern. Now, if you don't mind seaming, then it might be fine for you. I hate seaming. I hate it. I hate seaming. I hate weaving in ends. If I would have knit this, there would have been a heck of a lot less to do. And I could have probably pounded it out in like one day, right? Just knit, knit, knit. But I think overall, it turned out cute. Like I said, I would have made the body a little longer and the legs a little longer, but overall, and one thing the questions that I get when I take toys into the knit shop is everyone's concerned about safety eyes. I have no concerns about safety eyes with little people as long as the knit fabric is tight enough, which normally the size eyes I choose are way bigger than they will ever get out of that yarn. So I did not use plastic safety eyes. The pattern did not call for it. You're supposed to embroider it on. I wanted to make the toy as close to the pattern as I could to make her happy. I mean, she didn't tell me I couldn't use safety eyes, but she did ask me about them when I took the samples I made of my patterns, and there was a concern of safety eyes. So I just used, I went and found my Cascade 220 Superwash, since this is washable yarn as well. Cut a big long strand and did the face. So I think the face came out okay. I'm not used to embroidering faces on, so I cannot say that I'm overly good at it. I can place safety eyes and noses on like a pro, but so this little happy bear is going to go live at the knit shop, and I'm so glad. Not that I don't like, I mean, it's cute. My husband's like, I think it's adorable. I'm like, yeah, we have a history now, right? Like, I couldn't be done fast enough. So then, I'm trying to think which one I should show first. I think I'll show the other one first. Anyways, since I'm talking about the knit shop, so I last week had showed you all these little balls of yarn that I had. One of the girls that hangs out at the knit shop and is very good friends with the owner had knit sleeves by Martina Bem and didn't like it. She's like, you know, I like the pictures. Once I knit it, she's like, it just wasn't for me. So that's what all those little balls of yarn are from. See, there's some in here. I didn't put all of them in here. So I had asked viewers to give me recommendations. What's something that I can use a bunch of these little balls from? And I got great responses. I mean, there was not a bad suggestion in the bunch. There were some suggestions where I'm like, yeah. Lots of color work, right? Like, I'm not the best at stranding, Fair Isle, nothing like that. So someone recommended, I'm thinking her name was Tracy. I'm thinking, if I got it wrong, I'm so sorry. Alber's cowl, or Alber's cowl. So I printed it out in black and white. It's definitely nicer in color. But I'm like, oh, I can handle that. So it kind of is very reminiscent of the log cabin pattern. So you make 3 squares, all different, and then you just seam them together and wear it as a cowl. I'm like, great. So it's taking longer than I anticipated. I thought, oh, this will be a very quick pattern, right? You make 3 squares and you seam them together. Well, it's a lot of casting off and picking up stitches, which I totally didn't realize how much that would slow me down. Plus, I mean, it's not like I haven't been knitting other things, right? So here's my first square. It's not done. No judging. So I have the orange, the teal, and then like a grayish blue. Now I have to do the top part of the grayish blue. And then it'll be all trimmed out in this pink. Oh! Okay, I have another ball of pink since that one rolled away. It'll be in this pink. So I think that'll go well because I have to play with the colors that I was given. So I can't really stray from it. This would be a really great pattern to use for your sock leftovers. In the pattern, it tells you what each, like, okay, this is square 1. They give you yardage for what you need for color A of square 1, color B, color C, color D. So you don't even have to, like, repeat one color more than once in the whole thing. I'm like, what a great use of the sock yarn. I mean, I might go and abandon my beekeeper's quilt and just make a bunch of squares. I mean, you could use the Albers cowl pattern if you already have it. And then I know there's so many tutorials and instructions for log cabin squares out there. What a great use. You could do like a variegated in the middle, trim it out in a solid, do another variegated if it's, I mean, I think after doing this, I mean, it's a bit tedious. Like I said, all the casting on and picking up, and there's seams to weave in. Here's my backside. So there are ends that you're going to have to weave in. But, I mean, really, if you wanted to do one layer at a time, you could. Now, this one has 4 colors. So this is square 1 and square 3. Square 1 and square 3 have 4 colors. Square 2 only has 3. So if you wanted to mix it up between 4 color squares and 3 color squares, you can. I'm just like, this has been like eye-opening for me. Like, sock yarn scraps, hello! So I think that's what I might do, because the Hexie Puffs, as much as I love them and adorable, I think I want to just get a glass jar and kind of have the ones I have in a jar. And if I feel like making one every so often, like plopping it in. But I think overall, I like this better than the actual sock yarn scrap blanket that I've seen. That's kind of like the mitered squares that people joke that they're blankets only, you know, the knitter could love. So yeah, I'm thinking this might be an option for me. Thinking about it. I mean, I'm not saying I'm going to start it anytime soon, but it could be a possibility. I like it. Because I love the log cabin blankets I've seen on Ravelry that are Noro. Oh, gorgeous. And then the yarn that I'm using, now I cannot give you any specific colorways because I don't have ball bands, but I do know that it is, I guess it goes like this, it is Tree Frog in the Petaboo base. So it is a wool bamboo base, and it's very soft, very nice to knit with. The colors the girl picked I think are all gorgeous. There's no way, because today's Wednesday, I'll be going back on Friday, weather permitting. There's no way that I am going to get this finished by this coming weekend, but hopefully the next weekend, the following weekend, I will have it done so I can show you this hopefully next week. Let's hope. I still make no promises. She doesn't know it's coming. Hopefully she doesn't watch. I hope not, because I want it to be a surprise. Because I'm being compensated for knitting this with yarn, not cash. And so I'm hoping, she's, because I offered to knit samples for free. She's like, I can't let you do that in good conscience. I'm like, you know, so, I mean, I'm not going to knit you blankets or anything, right? So she doesn't know this is coming, and I'm not letting her compensate me for this at all. I'll be like, it's a gift to the shop. So you really just need 7 colors, 50 grams of any one color to do it all. But like I said, no more than 20 to 30 grams per other colors if you have just scraps. So awesome. And then the last work in progress I have is a sock head hat, because the sock head hat I showed you last week that is mine, I have gotten compliments everywhere I've gone. Like the grocery store, we took the kids out bowling Friday. They had a choice between going and seeing Frozen, because oh my goodness, we haven't seen it yet, and bowling, and they chose bowling because they were like, well, when is Frozen coming out? We're like, it's like March 18th or something like that. They're like, we can just get it on disc. I want to go bowling. Like, all 3 wanted to go bowling. So then we went out to eat, and everywhere I went, I got compliments on my hat. My husband's like, you know, that is a pretty cool hat. I'm like, yeah. You like it? I can make you one. He's like, yeah, but I don't want it in such girly colors. So he liked the stripes. So we got online looking on Ravelry at opal colorways, and he picked this. So once again, I'm using opal in the Vincent van Gogh inspired colorways, and this one is like bedroom at Arles or something like that. Most people just call it the bedroom. So it's like a little room, it's painted blue with a bed on it with a red blanket. and a chair with a green cushion. Let's see. So that's what the painting looks like, and then knitted up. Let's see if I can get some more slack. It looks like this. So I was kind of surprised. They had some opals that were very like neutrals, like grays and blues, and I thought he'd want something more like that because he really likes darker neutral colors. So I was surprised when he picked something very colorful. There's a lot of blue in it, there's a lot of tan and brown, but there's pops of green, pops of red, and pops of yellow. And as I'm knitting it up, I'm like, do you like it? Are you sure that you like it? Because I'm thinking, I really don't want to knit you another one. And he's like, no, I really like it. So I think I'm going to knit his only to 7 inches on the stockinette part as well, like I did mine. It's funny because I felt like mine went super fast. You know, it was the first one I knit, no pressure either. I mean, not that he's like pressuring me to knit it, but he's like, how's my hat coming? Which is good, because that means that he's really looking forward to wearing it. And I'm just like, it's getting there. Like, do you not see I have other things to knit? But yeah, so it's so funny because Steve had a conversation with Callie about slouchy hats, and the title of his episode this week is D-bag. And I kind of always thought the same thing about slouchy hats. You kind of look like a D-bag. I'm sorry. I know it's not ladylike. But seeing everyone else's sockhead hats, I'm like, oh my god, I gotta jump on that bandwagon because I am loving everyone else's. So yeah, I love you anyway, Steve, even if you think I look like a D-bag in my slouchy hat. At least my husband and I will be a couple of together. So, like I said, between the 2 things I finished and the 2 things I'm working on, 0 for me. But that's all I've been knitting. That's it, right? Not that much. So, enabling. I have enabling. First off, I had to have this yarn because Susan B. Anderson posted it on Instagram. And I didn't get it just because Susan B. Anderson was knitting on it. But she was knitting it up, and I was like, oh, those are my colors! Like, I had to be all over it. So it is Regia in the Super Jacquard color, and it is color number 07204. And somewhere online there was a name for the color. Because, you know, I like names better than numbers, but not that I could pronounce the name anyways. So, the Super Jacquard colors have since been discontinued. So, I had to hunt this down on Etsy. And, of course, the seller, like, somehow caught wind that this, out of the 8 colorways, was, like, the most popular one. Because she was charging, like, $4 more for this colorway than all the others. Nice, right? But whatever, I'm the idiot that paid it. So, let's see. It is teals, mustard yellow, an orangey red, and browns with little pops of white. And since it is a jacquard, it'll get that kind of speckly. I don't know how well the camera will pick up the picture. That's not the colorway it is, but that's how it'll look knitted up, just in different colors. So, I had to have it. It screamed me. I cannot wait to knit myself some socks in this. I just cannot decide if I want to do afterthought heel socks or gusset socks. And like, gusset socks will break up the stripes. Unless if I use, you know, a different technique. But I really like my pattern, which is being tested. I've had some super testers. Like, I've had testers who have been phenomenal between grammar and punctuation, and I don't mind. To me, that's why I have testers. So, it's been graciously appreciated. Then, I showed you last week I had kind of a crap ton of Madeline Tosh support. I have more. So, it's for my goal sweater. And I have learned if you need Madeline Tosh in a certain weight and a certain colorway and you find it, if you have the funds, you need to get it because it is not going to be there when you go back. Because I have been burned over and over and over when I'm like, oh, this website has what I need. I'll wait and get it because I might not quite have the money this week. So I got 3 skeins of Madeline Tosh Sport in the Smokestack colorway. So this is the last of what I needed for my sweater. So I got 3 of these, 3 of the Tern, 2 of the Bloomsbury, and 1 Baltic. And the pattern that I'm going to knit, I bought it and printed it out, is the Coastal Hoodie by Tori Gurbis, Gurbizz. If you type in Coastal Hoodie on Ravelry, it will come right up. And this just as description gauge, there's nothing of the pattern. I'm not giving anything away, I promise. So, let's see, can I get it close enough? Hopefully it won't blur. That is the sweater. It is long, it is striped, and then you stick it. Yeah, the thought of that kind of makes me want to barf. I'm like, I had to have 9 skeins of Madeline Tosh Sport to knit this, and then I gotta cut it. But this is my goal sweater. I have wanted to knit this for years. Like, I don't know when it came out, 2011. So probably since I first saw it when it first came out, 2.5, 3 years ago, I have wanted to knit this. So originally the pattern calls for the Smokestack and the Tern, 3 of each, which I got. It also called for 2 skeins of window pane, which I have now since learned that it is discontinued. I cannot find it anywhere. I looked in the Mad Tosh group on Ravelry. I looked in D-Stash. I contacted people. They either didn't respond or they said no. And then it called for 1 skein of Curiosity, which is purple. So since I couldn't find the window pane, I got 2 Bloomsbury. It is very close to Smokestack, just not quite as bright. And since I don't like purple, pretty much hardly ever at all, instead of purple, I went with Baltic, which is a dark blue, because it complements Bloomsbury very nice. So that is my plans for that. I don't normally always talk about my plans, but I thought to give you an idea of what I was going to do with all of that yarn. And then I was at the knit shop Friday, and Friday I bought the Vincent Van Gogh. So this is new. I am already knitting with it, but it is new. Got this on Friday for my husband. And then I also got, because she got a new shipment of yarns in, and I got to see it. You know, she's like, ooh, look at this. And everyone was like snatching at it, and I kind of got pulled into the hype, but only because I really, really do love it. I've never used this yarn. It's new to me. It is Plymouth yarn, and it is their Neon Now. It is color number 003. Real original there. And it is neon. It is neon green with neon yellow with a couple different shades of blue. And it is so not picking up how bright that is. Because it is like, it's neon. And I loved it. I'm like, oh my goodness, I love it so much. So much. Like, it reminds me of that Leslie Sansone video. She says something, she goes, so much. Sorry, don't mean to make fun of her, just, you know. Anyways, so I kind of got sucked into the oohing and eyeing, and I really cannot wait to make brightly colored socks. So it is soft, not the softest that I have ever felt, but it could soften after I start knitting with it. And it is 75% wool, 25% nylon with 436 yards, 100 grams. So not too shabby. And then, so I'm knitting on, I knit my sockhead hat, and I was knitting my husband's sockhead hat, and my daughter's like, you know, I really want one of those. I'm like, really? I'm like, feeling pretty cool, right? My 14-year-old wants something like I've made myself. She's like, yeah, but I want mine blue, aqua, and white. Yeah, I'll just call up any yarn company I want to and go, hey Opal, can I get blue, aqua, and white? So yeah, then started the search at the knit shop for a sock weight yarn that was blue, aqua, and white. There wasn't any. I even looked around online. There wasn't any. Now, Opal had some with aquas and blues and white, but it had green. She's like, I don't want green. I was like, but it's pretty. There was like one of their fern and fairies. She's like, no, don't like it. So I ended up finding this. It is not sock yarn. It is a sport yarn. It is Indulgence 6-ply and the Distrato. I'm trying to think, who is this made? Knitting Fever. So this is made by Knitting Fever. Knitting Fever Indulgence 6-ply. Now Ravelry has it listed as a DK. It is not a DK. It is a sport. I don't think it's close to a DK at all. It is a 6-ply. DK I think is rated as an 8-ply. I don't remember. But anyways, I'm going to swatch and adjust so I won't be casting on quite as many stitches for her sockhead hat. Because in this you get a lot of output. It's 150 grams for 226 yards. It is an extra fine merino and 75% extra fine merino, 25% polyamide. And it is soft. It is super, super soft. So it is close to what she wanted. There is blues. It's not quite aqua. It's more of a teal. So blue, a teal, little specks of white, and there are some tiny little specks of lime green. But it is stripes. She loved it. I took a picture of it on my phone. I texted it to her, and she's like, that is what I want. She's like, do you think you could get a pair of fingerless mitts out of that too? So I think I will. I think decreasing my number of stitches for the sockhead hat. I only used half a skein for my sockhead hat, so 50 grams. This is 150 grams, just a little more yardage. I think I would be able to get her a small pair of fingerless mitts. So that's it. I'm like, the yarn that has come in lately. But I've been doing good at photographing it and getting it in my Ravelry stash and keeping it sorted in the right areas. Two of the skeins that I bought, this and the Opal, aren't even for me. Like, my husband has no problem me buying yarn when I'm making something for him, right? Or the kids. So, that's my, dear God. I'm like, oh, 6 skeins. No, wait, it was 7, because one's in the thing. I'm sorry. So, one more sockhead hat in my future. But luckily, I'm thinking since I'll be decreasing the stitches, using a thicker yarn, it should go a bit faster. I don't know. Knitting things for other people isn't my favorite thing to do. I like to make things that I want. So, and I am wearing my Miranda. It is a little big still. The owner of the knit shop, I took it in and I tried it on there at the knit shop. And I told her my problem with it being a bit long. So she said, I explained to her that I washed it in the washing machine with like no agitation, on the wool setting, and then just set it out to block it. I did pin it to the board so my kids and my dogs wouldn't like knock it off. She said to go rewash it, and when it's wet, kind of try to scrunch the stitches, kind of make it a little shorter so it might dry that way. I did that, and I still threw it in the dryer while it was still barely damp, which completely dried it out. 15 minutes on low heat, tumble dry. And it shortened it a little. It made it a little more fitting. So it's definitely better. The only thing I don't like about the sweater is that there is no waist shaping. Being a curvy girl, even losing the weight that I have, I'm still always been kind of hourglass shaped. I'm just curvy naturally. It probably wouldn't matter. I'd have to be like skin and bones to not have curves, and even then I'd probably still have some. So I just feel boxy in it because it doesn't fit. But it's not supposed to fit, and I know that. So it's just not something I would typically, I guess, wear But I like it. Love the color. Love the color on me. So yeah. See, I still feel like I'm looking in the camera. I'm like, I still feel like it's boxy right here. Like, I don't know. I'm just not used to wearing stuff fitted that way, I guess. It just takes some getting used to. But I do like it. I like the yarn. The yarn softened up considerably. It's warm. Nice on a cold day like this. Can't wait to wear it to the knit shop. So that's all I have for the knitting. So I don't know, I feel like I've talked a while. So we're going to move into the slice of life. So if you leave me now, I understand, and I will see you next week. And if not, here we go. Like I'm pointing like we're actually going somewhere. Okay, I had a great loss last week, right? Hit that 75-pound milestone, and I gained 1.8 this week. Like, I am so annoyed. So, which I'll probably lose next week. That seems to be the pattern. I gain and I lose, and I gain and I lose. So, still kind of a plateau. Still, I don't know. Like, I don't even, it needs to warm up so I can go outside and run and jog and get some exercise. Or someone needs to give me a treadmill. Because that's what I really like doing. I don't know. I've never really run much on a treadmill. I don't know that I would really like it. I like being outside. I love the fresh air. I love the sunshine on my face. It's just so hard, right? Like, it's cold and I'm unmotivated to throw on workout clothes and jump around the house and I've had a lot to do. I mean, I have a lot of obligations. I'm finishing up, thank goodness. I have a lot of new plans of things I hope to do and plan to do, and so many exciting things in the future that I really hope work out, because lots of things have been in the work and in the planning for so long, and some things have stalled out, and some things I just didn't think I could do because of time and space in the house, and you know, I've been talking it over with my husband. He's like, make a go of it. He's like, you don't know if you don't try. Let's do it. Why not? So he's always super supportive, which keeps me going. I have friends that are super supportive. I have my new knit group that's super supportive, that when I have problems and questions, there's such a diverse group of people that somebody usually has the answer, and therefore I try to do the same. People come in with questions or sit scratching their head, you know, this isn't working, is there something else I can do? And sometimes I have the answer, which makes me feel really good. Like, I like being able to help other knitters when they get stuck, just like I like it when there's someone there to help me. So, big plans in the future. Probably nothing super soon, but stuff in the works, stuff in the plans. Traveling coming up, looking forward to retreats and things this year, and festivals, and I don't get to go and do a lot of the big ones. Like, I would love to do Rhinebeck at least once. At least once. But, so, I just figure I'm going to keep trying to stick to the plan, right? So, keep doing Weight Watchers, and I'm trying not to get too frustrated. I keep thinking, okay, once it warms up, it should be better. And I keep telling myself, you've lost so much weight now, it gets harder to lose the further you go. Like, at first you feel like, oh wow, this is just melting off, and then it does slow down. You know, it's kind of hard because, like, I love watching, like, The Biggest Loser. I missed the finale last night. I only saw, like, the first half hour. I'll have to see if I can watch it online. And, you know, I think all these people, they drop, like, 100 plus pounds in, like, 4 months. I have to tell myself, no, they have trainers. They're exercising, like, 8 hours a day. They're being pushed to their limits. You know, they're not at home. They don't have kids to take care of and jobs to do and laundry and cleaning and you know, stuff like that. So that's, I'm not going to say it's impossible for the average person to do it, because I would have thought what I've done is impossible, and it's not. But it's not as obtainable for people in the real world. That's why they send these people to the Biggest Loser Ranch, right? Like, they are isolated from everything else. You know, there are no cookies and Reese cups I've been craving Reese cups. Cookies and Reese cups and everything else that they can just go and get, right? It's not there. The temptation is not there. Unless they have like a special challenge. But, so I'm just going to keep trying to stick at it. And hopefully, you know, I'll take 2 steps forward and only 1 step back. I mean, that's all I can ask for right now. Like I said, it's frustrating and it totally pisses me off. I'll be completely honest. I get totally ticked off and kind of feel like there's like a little rain cloud hanging over my head the rest of the day when I have a crappy weigh-in. But then I wake up, like today, because yes, Tuesday's weigh-in day, Wednesday's recording day, and I wake up today going, okay, it's not as bad. I made a mountain out of a molehill. Let's get back to it. Because I'm not going back. I've gotten rid of all my fat pants. There's no going back. If I have to buy new clothes, they're going to be smaller. I only had 15 pounds to go. Now I have 16.8. But I've come a long way, right? There's no reason to quit now. It's frustrating. It is a trial of my dedication and my patience and my willingness. But I feel so amazing. Like, if somebody would have told me well, you know what, someone probably did tell me years ago, oh, you'll feel so much better. You don't realize how bad you felt until you feel so good. I feel so good. And part of it is too, we had pizza over the weekend. And normally I limit myself to like 2, maybe 3 pieces. And I had 4. Like, I was starving. And it started off like, well, I had my 3, and then I'm hungry, so I cut one in half, and I had the half, and then a little while later, I'm like, where's that other half? And cheese irritates me now. Like, I'm not lactose intolerant or anything like that, I don't think, because dairy has never bothered me. But I think, like, the cheese, like, I felt bloated. Like, I just was like, oh, all that cheese, and because I don't eat it anymore. And now I'm kind of like, oh, the cheese was so good, right? Like, I could just, like, peel off the whole top of the pizza and eat the cheese and be in, heaven. Now I'm like, oh, cheese. Cheese and I, we're not friends anymore. Because it makes you feel like crap. All the fat and dairy. Like I said, I love cheese and ice cream and anything cheese. I could eat cream cheese or ricotta cheese with a spoon. But it does make you realize what it does to your body, especially when you've kind of like detoxed yourself out of it. So I do think maybe, you know, I know the pizza probably contributed to the weight gain, but I'm like, really? I did not think all that cheese and bread, because let's face it, the crust, bread, carbs, would have, I did not eat 1.8 pounds worth of pizza. So we'll just have to see where the chips fall next week. Keep plugging at it. You know. So enough about that. So hopefully next week I will have that cowl to show you, because I'm telling you, I'm thinking that might be a blanket idea for me. And get that sock head hat off the needles just to get another one back on. Because I want my daughter to be able to wear it while it's still cold. I might start with the fingerless mitts first. There was more than one skein of that at the knit shop if I do need more. But I hope I don't. So, I am Jenna. I don't know that I said that at the beginning of the show. Sorry if you're new. I am Jenna, also known as Retro Lemon. I am Retro Lemon on Ravelry, Plurk, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, Weight Watchers, and Fitbit if you would like to join me there. So, until next week, I'll see you then. Bye.